Hey everybody, I hope you had a nice weekend. We are going to move on with geometry, so today will be another day where you just take notes and you write what I write and just show me your notes, and that's your assignment for today, Monday, and then we're going to move on to some more assignments as the week goes on. We were talking about two different things, types of lines and then types of shapes. I'll get into that. The first thing, I'll pause now if you need to go get a paper and a pencil, and then we will continue. Okay, so the first thing is when you have two lines, there are always one of three things. The lines are either parallel, intersecting, or perpendicular. And these are the three words, and these are the signs for each of the three. Parallel lines go on and on and on and on and on and never touch. So they're going in the same direction, and if you drew that line forever and ever and ever, they would never touch. So that's parallel lines. Intersecting lines, they do touch. So it could look like this, or maybe it looks like this, and they're not touching yet, but you see that if you continue to draw the lines, they would be touching. They're called intersecting lines. If the lines intersect at a right angle, 4 right angles actually, that is called perpendicular. They come to a 90-degree angle. So they intersect at a 90-degree angle. We call that a right angle, and we call that perpendicular. So when you have two lines, they're either going to be parallel, never touch, intersecting, they touch, or they're going to touch, and perpendicular, where they're touching or going to touch at a right angle, like the pictures here. And the second thing we're going to talk about are something called quadrilaterals, and that's a fancy name for a type of shape that has 4 sides and 4 angles. So if a shape has 4 sides and 4 angles, it's automatically a quadrilateral. The shapes I'm going to show you right now are all quadrilaterals. They all have 4 sides and 4 angles, so you'll remember that. The first one is called a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a shape that has, that's kind of a crummy looking trapezoid, but we'll go with it. It has at least one pair of parallel lines, and sometimes they're indicated with arrows. You see this line and this line, if they went on and on and on forever, they would never touch. That's at least one pair of parallel lines. It could have 2 pairs of parallel lines. It still would be considered a trapezoid, but it has to at least have one pair of parallel lines. The next one is called the parallelogram. A parallelogram has 2 pairs of parallel lines. So you see this one would be parallel with this one, and over here this one would be parallel with this one. If a shape has 2 sets of parallel lines, it's automatically a parallelogram. It's still a quadrilateral. It might be a trapezoid, but it is also a parallelogram. A shape can have more than one name. The third one everyone's familiar with. It's called a rectangle. A rectangle has 4 right angles and 2 sets of lines that are the same length. So these 2 are going to have the same length, and these 2 are going to have the same length. And they're noted that they have the same lengths, usually with a line through it. I mean, they also have 2 pairs of parallel sides, right? These are parallel sides, and these are parallel sides, but they also have equal lengths on both sides, and that is a rectangle. 2 more. The next one is called a rhombus, and a rhombus has 4 sides of equal length. That's it. So it's a quadrilateral that has 4 sides of equal length. Doesn't necessarily have to have right angles. I kind of drew one that had right angles, but it could be well, that also kind of has right angles, but it doesn't have to have right angles, but it has to have four sides that are the same length. And the last one, which everyone knows, it's your square. By the way, a square is also a rhombus. A square has to have four right angles, and all four sides have to be of equal length. So by default, a square is going to be a parallelogram. A square is going to be a trapezoid. Obviously, a square is a quadrilateral because you have your parallel lines, and each line is the same length. So that's a lot of information in a short amount of time. These are all quadrilaterals. When you hear quad, you think four sides, four angles. Trapezoids, parallelograms, rectangles, rhombuses, squares. So one day you'll have an assignment with the intersecting parallel or perpendicular lines, and then the next day you'll have to identify quadrilaterals. And remember, a quadrilateral can have more than one name. All right, I hear my dog barking from the outside, so I'm going to take off now. Have a good week, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.